Hey, what's happening, everybody? It's Curtis. Today we're going to go ahead and change out the oil on my Maserati Ghibli SQ4. It's a 2015, and I've been doing maintenance on this vehicle for the past 8 years. Let's go ahead and get started. We're changing out the oil today, so I've got 12 quarts of 5W40 Platinum Euro full synthetic 5W40. Now I know the old models used to have like a Ferrari logo right here. We're not going to need those. These will work just fine right here. Platinum Euro full synthetic 5W40. So I've got 12 quarts. I think we're going to use like 9 or 10, maybe 11 based on the way that I'm going to be extracting out the oil. Of course, I got some tons of paper towel right there, gloves. You're going to need an extension, a half-inch extension with this, some sort of piece. You're going to need that half-inch extension with this piece right here, 27 millimeter, to pull out that oil filter. Going to need some screwdrivers, flathead, something to pry out the covers for the engine air filters. And then I had checked out some of the engine air filters, some filters on Amazon, some generics. I didn't like them just the way that they felt. Uh, I've always used OEM parts, but I wanted to see if something cheaper would be equivalent. And when I had ordered it, I could just tell because after years of using OEM products, the quality is night and day. So engine air filter, cabin air filter. I'm gonna swap this out. You'll see that. And then we've got the oil filter in here. Comes with the casing already. Ferrari engine, right? So it says Ferrari on there, which is nice. So those are the primary things that we're going to use. It's a little warm today, so I got some water. One thing that I had actually forgotten to show you all is my extractor pump. This is it right here, and I'm going to go ahead and pull it out. So this is what I've been using for years right here. I'll leave the link for you guys as well. And then these are the different tubes that come with it, depending on how much you need. I'll go ahead and attach them in a bit to show you guys, okay? All right, everybody, so this is where the engine oil fill area is at right here. We'll go ahead and undo this part right here. This is where the this is where the oil dipstick is at, right? So this is exactly where we're going to be extracting from. So we're going to pull this thing out. We're going to put those tubes from the extractor in there, and then we're going to pump it to extract everything out. Now, I know there's a question on whether we're going to be able to extract everything out, and there's a little trick that I use. I'm going to show you guys how to do that in a bit here. Let's go ahead and pull out dipstick, okay? Oil's a little dirty. I change it out once a year, maybe twice some years. Again, I don't drive the vehicle too much, and it's recommended to change it out once every year. So I'll pull out this engine dipstick. Let's go ahead and open up the engine oil fill area. We'll go ahead and just clean the fill area. All right, so we're going to go ahead and grab the oil extractor pump. And actually, I'm going to go ahead and put the attachments on first, okay? So it just slips right on and it locks on, okay? Then go ahead and put the next piece on there. It just slips right on, okay? This is something that you can literally just put right into where the dipstick came out of. All right, everybody. So now that I've got the extractor pump right here, put it close to the vehicle, you can see this is where the dipstick came out of. All you got to do is make sure and ensure that you get this thing in there all the way to the bottom. You can kind of feel it. That's it right there. That's the max. And then what you'll end up doing is you see the handle right here. Got the pump right on top of it. All you got to do is just go ahead and pump it up. And you can tell, see that oil is coming out. Now, apparently you can use this as a pneumatic tool as well. But as you can tell, I've just been pumping it out manually. Just get enough pressure in there. As you can tell, it's coming out. Once you lose a little bit of pressure, you have to pump it a little bit more over and over and over until it comes out completely. And we'll just watch it get fuller and fuller. And this will take a good amount of time, because remember, we're extracting about 9 quarts. So I'm going to go ahead and continue doing this, continue pumping it out, continue monitoring it until it flushes out almost completely, and then we'll come back. All right, so it seems that we're at the point where there's not much of the old oil left with this extraction process. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and give it a few more pumps. Okay, and it's moving a little slowly. Seems like we got most of it out, almost all of it out. Okay, and this is the reason why, well, the fact that it's difficult to get all of the old oil out is a reason why this method's a little unpopular. But what I do is I fill it up with a little bit of oil, new oil, brand new oil. Yeah, it's going to be a little bit more costly, right? But that way I can try to pull out and extract the old oil. So we'll go ahead and try to get started on working on that right now. All right, so here I am prepping up my funnel. We're going to go ahead and prepare to fill it up with a little bit of brand new oil, okay, so that we can extract it out. Of course, it's going to extract out the brand new oil mixed with the old oil. And what we're going to look for is the lighter color of oil, okay? Once we've got to a decent amount of primarily just new oil coming out, that's when I'll be happy to say, okay, we'll stop the extraction process and just do the fill up process at this point. All right, so we'll go ahead and fill it up. Let's not use the whole thing, okay? Let's go ahead and use maybe about a third of this thing. We'll start there. All right, so I put in new oil. It's mixed into the old oil. Now let's go ahead and extract it. So we got more oil in there. Now we're extracting it out. And sometimes if you kind of wiggle this thing up and down, it'll kind of help with the extraction as well. Continue pumping it out. Oil's still decently dark, but I would imagine once we're through with the entire quart, it should look pretty new. So again, it looks like it's picking up the rest of the oil on the bottom. Let's go ahead and fill it up a little bit more. And then my next round, I'm hoping the oil that gets extracted out will look a lot more like mostly new oil. And as I had mentioned, the oil definitely seems like starting to get lighter. Let's go ahead and just fill it up with the rest of this oil here. Looks like we're done with the extraction process. At this point, I'm going to go ahead and just pull out the tube. Go ahead and put the dipstick back in. All right. At this point, let's go ahead and cook this up. Okay, so right now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and change the air cabin filter and the engine air filters. Okay, so first off, this is where the cabin air filter's at. Okay, pull that off right there. There are clips on the bottom where you can kind of just lift this cover up off. Okay, you can see right here it says airflow facing up. Okay, that's how you want to go ahead and put in the new filter. So I'm gonna go ahead and grab a new filter, and these here, again, I change them out on a yearly basis. Okay, so if you can tell, we've got airflow, the arrow, so it's going to be going in like this right here. So we'll go ahead and pull this one out, pop that one in. This one still looks like it's in pretty good condition, but you know, it's a Maserati, so I do the recommended maintenance on it. Simple as that. Got that down. Clip that back on. We're good with the cabin air filter. Now we're going to go ahead and change out the engine air filters, okay? So I've got a couple different screwdrivers here. Put on my safety glasses first. So to take these out, right, we've got some clips here, okay? And I believe there's one in the back. There is, right? So all you got to do is unclip it, okay? And let's see if the screwdriver is long enough to get this one down here. It is. Okay. So I've got that. And what you're going to want to do is pull this up. And you can tell there's a couple clips right here, right? That's where you can take your time, okay? Don't poke yourself out with screwdrivers. So here is one, right? Remember how I had mentioned at the beginning, I use just the OEM parts. Again, I had taken a look into generics, but the quality difference was night and day for me. So I prefer to go with OEM products. I'm gonna go ahead and pause this for a second so I can try to vacuum this out right here. Or actually, let's go ahead and take this one out first. Okay, same process. Clip there, and then there's one in the back. Okay, And don't try not to mess up this coolant tube right here. You can go ahead and pull it off of this clip right there if you need to, but I don't think you'll have to go through that. Okay, so we'll go ahead and pull this off. Just ensure that these clips right here are lined. Or actually, it looks like I'm gonna have to remove this guy. Okay, so I'm gonna remove that. That way I can pull this thing out right here. So we'll go ahead and pull this guy out as well. I'm gonna have to vacuum the inside of that. Before I even put in the new air filters, right? I'm gonna go ahead and vacuum this out first. But this is where the oil filter is at right here. And I am gonna go ahead and get in there and pull it out. So, in fact, I'm gonna change my camera angle this way. Okay, it is right there. That's the oil filter. All right. So again, I'm gonna go ahead and change this guy out. And what we're gonna want to do is put some sort of towel here, okay, so that when we pull it out, we're gonna have a small oil leak. We don't want it to drop into this compartment right here. So I'm gonna go ahead and drop these microfiber towels down here just to protect it. Put right there as well. And then I'm gonna layer something down here as well, because once I unscrew um, the oil filter, it's gonna drip a little bit. So, all right. So I'm gonna go ahead and just sit this right down here. That way, when it comes out, we'll be just fine. Okay. Remember I mentioned we're gonna need these tools right here. Okay, let's see if that's gonna be long enough for me. I think that'll be long enough. Okay, I'm gonna go get my drive tool. All right, you know what? I was thinking it'd be good for me to just have it a little bit longer, so I'm gonna go ahead and just add another attachment. So what we're gonna go ahead and do is we'll go ahead, lefty loosey, righty tighty. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and loosen it up. There we go. We'll go ahead and just slowly pull it out. Okay, just careful with it because you don't want to cross thread any of these things. So that's it right there. Okay. And it's a good thing that I had put these towels in here to absorb the oil. Okay. So at this point, I'm gonna go ahead and just clean up the oil where the oil filter goes in. Just clean up a little bit. And now I'm pulling out my new oil filter. Now I'm pulling out my new oil filter. We're gonna go ahead and put that one back in there. We'll put this one in there. But what I'd like to do first is actually grease up this little rubber gasket here. All right, now that I greased up this a little bit right here with some of that oil, I'm gonna go ahead and just start it off by hand. Okay. Again, try not to cross thread this. Just make sure that it fits in there. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and actually pull out some of this. So now that I've got it in there, go ahead. Tighten it in there. Okay. Don't over tighten any oil filters. Okay. Really, they just have to be hand tight. Once it's tight and not going any moving in any further, I'm done. Now that we have the oil filter in there, let's go ahead and throw in the engine air filters. Close them back up. Call it good. So we've got this one here. Okay. Boom. Sits in there like that. Got this guy right here. Remember what I said, right? When you throw them on, you want to make sure that the clips go back on like that right there. Okay. And you know you've got it in there right if this compartment is closed in and all the grooves are aligned, you're good. Okay. Should be easy to clip these on. Make sure you get all the clips on. You know, I'm just doing this by hand. Good. Same thing, this one here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead, pull out the towel that I had protecting. It's gorgeous. Okay, boom, just like that. All right, once we've got the engine air filter in, okay, you can tell, right, we've got this thing right here. These hooks right here, they're supposed to hook right onto this guy. Okay, so you go ahead and feed it in. I'm going to move the engine air filter just a little bit with my index finger. Okay, and if you can tell, hope you can see it, got the hook right there. It should go right under, just like that. There we go. That way the clips align properly. Okay, compartment's on good. And we close up the rest of the clips. We're good there. We're going to go ahead and fill it up. First one. Second one. Third one. Fourth one. Fifth one. Sixth one. Seventh. All right, so at this point, I've got 7 quarts in the car. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and check the dipstick first. We'll see where we're at. Of course, I'm going to have to run the car in a bit to get a good level. Let's go ahead and try this out first. Okay, let's see where we're at with the dipstick. Okay, every time I do a drain and fill, I like to plug this dipstick in several times before I get to a point where I'm comfortable where it's at. Okay, so we're at 7, and it's at the minimum. It's practically at the minimum dot right here. You can tell, and I've got 7, right? So also I haven't ran the car and the car is a little bit uphill. So we're almost there. What I prefer to do is run the vehicle first and then top it off from there. Hey everybody, I apologize my camera ran out of battery and didn't get the chance to capture the top off, but I practically turned the engine on for a few minutes, rechecked the dipstick, then reversed my car onto the road and ensured that it was leveled, and topped it off again until the oil reached the max line on the dipstick. I think that's pretty straightforward and you probably shouldn't have any issues with it. Thanks for watching, and I'll be sure to leave the items I used in the description with an affiliate link. If you use the link, it'll help me out, so I certainly appreciate it. If not, I hope you were able to pick up something that could help you as well. If this video helped you out in any way, or if you simply enjoyed it, please click the like button and subscribe. If you have any questions, feel free to drop it into the comments.